Sages from ages have been telling us that burn your ego, let it go. Otherwise, this will burn you. But what have we done? We have kept it close to our chests. Why? Because we believe that we are superior to anyone else, and that is nothing but the ego. Historically, it has been proven. You pick up any historic book, you talk about dictators who had very high ego. They probably drew motivation from their ego to conquer the world. But as soon as they are gone, that's it, they're dusted. They remain only in the history books, which tell us how you should not be. They don't tell us how you should be. So when it comes to the professional workspaces or the corporate life, it is no different. Everyone has got their own portion of ego which they play with. Everybody wants to prove themselves superior than others. Everybody believes that they are the best. And as soon as you start feeling that you know everything, you are the best in whatever you are doing, you stop listening. As soon as you stop listening and observing, you lose the content. You lose people around you. And eventually, you end up trying to defend your own position again and again, and that is going to burn you out. So there are a few pointers which I really want to give you today, quick ones, using which you can really ensure that you are letting your ego go. At the same time, you are upkeeping your self-respect and self-esteem. So most of the times when our egos come into play is when we are trying to persuade someone on some content or some context, but the person who's opposite to us is giving us counter arguments. So how do we handle it? If we get into the ego, we'll start screaming, we'll lose our cool and calm in the meetings face to face or even on the calls. So how do we handle it? So number one is, for a moment, acknowledge. Okay, so when I say acknowledge, that means assume that you know nothing and what the other person is saying is right. Absorb it. Just keep absorbing it. This will really give you an insight into what's going on in his head. And once you have that level of information, you will be able to really process whether you have a stronger counter argument or not. So number two is counter argument. When you make a counter argument, make it based on the fact. So you ensure either you buy time or you go ahead with your research and present the figures. People cannot counter argument if some data is presented to them. Number three is decision, right? You are presenting your argument with facts and figures, right? And you have your own opinion that how things should be. Or you can propose, this is what I believe we should do and this is how it is going to help us. What do you think? And as soon as you ask the other party, what do you think about it? You are basically helping him present his own opinions as well, and that too in an open manner. If you dictated that I believe this is supposed to be done and let's do it, let's move on. So the person who's opposite you might have certain thoughts or opinions, and that though if he's not able to express those, it will negate the entire argument. So the decision which you make mutually, of course you have presented your point of view, but you are at the same time asking that person. So if he is open and you have a strong argument, chances are very high that what you wanted will happen. Last but not the least is share responsibility but take accountability. So it happens that in any walk of life where there is a competition, everybody wants to take the responsibility and prove yourself better than others. It happens by default. It could be the unconscious bias, but it happens. So what you consciously need to do is you need to share the responsibility and say, let's do it together. Bring in the win-win culture. But take the accountability. Say that we'll do it together. I'll support you, but you must support me. And if something goes wrong, I'll take the accountability. Trust me, you will get 110% support from the person whom you're talking to. So I hope you will resonate with these 4 points and try to implement in your professional life, corporate life. Even in the personal life, it works. Do leave your comment and share this video with your friends if you think this is useful for them. This is Rohit Chopra from Your Mind Coach, signing off for the day.